Welcome to LSAT Max. We are so grateful that your law school dreams have led you to create a free account and start exploring our program. My name is Mehran, and I'm one of the founders of TestMax, the creators of LSAT Max, the #1 rated LSAT prep course, and Bar Max, the #1 rated bar review course. We are deeply passionate about helping students crush these exams, but sadly, there's a lack of proper guidance amidst an ocean of terrible advice in the world of LSAT prep. So if nothing else, it is my hope that by watching this short video, you will learn the do's and don'ts of LSAT prep and be fully equipped to put yourself in the best position to achieve your goals. I will also walk you through all the content, features, functionality, and personal support that have made LSAT Max the #1 rated course and allowed our students to increase their scores by 18 points on average. But first, if you're feeling discouraged, confused, and even worried, the good news is that it isn't you. It's the LSAT. The LSAT is a very challenging exam. In my opinion, the most challenging standardized exam on the market. And it makes most students feel exactly what you're feeling right now. If you're just getting started with your LSAT prep, don't worry. You'll understand this sentiment as soon as you take your first practice LSAT. I walked out of my first practice LSAT coming up with new life plans. That's how confused I felt. Long is the way and hard that out of hell leads up to light. But there is a light at the end of this tunnel, and we're going to guide you to it. While I started in the 140s, blindly guessing on every question, I eventually scored a 174, which got me accepted to Harvard Law School, where I graduated in 2010. I am one of the instructors in LSAT Max, and I have been teaching LSAT prep since 2005. So let not your heart be troubled if you score lower, even significantly lower than your target score on your first practice LSAT. My journey, as well as our countless testimonials, clearly demonstrate that the LSAT is learnable. The only question is how. Well, despite what some anonymous internet message board says to the contrary, the LSAT is not an exam that you want to self-study for. The reason? The LSAT is a logic-based exam that tests how you think. Come and let us reason together, said the Lord. The LSAT is not a subject-based exam, asking you to memorize and regurgitate subject matter. And changing how you think is a very different process from memorizing and regurgitating. Now, every student is different. And if you're one of those rare students that can self-study for the LSAT, we're going to also discuss how to properly assess whether whatever you're using for LSAT prep is working. There should be no surprises. And if the difficulty of this exam wasn't enough, the pressure of what's at stake only heightens the importance of scoring as high as possible on the LSAT, because it is not only the #1 factor in law school admissions, but it is also the #1 factor in merit-based scholarships. 9 out of 10 students who score above a 166 receive merit-based scholarships. Your LSAT score will not only determine where you go to law school, but who your friends will be, who you will marry, where you will work, how much money you will make, where your kids will go to school, and even who your kids will be friends with. So no pressure, right? As my favorite book says, the wise see danger ahead and avoid it, but fools keep going and get into trouble. Thankfully for you, you've already found LSAT Max. So let's dive in how to properly prepare for the LSAT. The first thing you want to do as you embark on your LSAT prep journey is to take a practice LSAT. For this reason, you will be presented with the mini practice LSAT as soon as you enter LSAT Max. This is a 35-minute exam that will project your score. This is a fantastic place to start if you don't want to sit down and take a full 2.5-hour simulated exam. Alternatively, you can go to the full course and take a full-length 2.5-hour simulated practice exam under the practice tab. A lot of students avoid taking a practice LSAT before they start studying. This makes no sense. The purpose of taking a practice LSAT is twofold. First, to expose yourself to the exam so you can get an understanding of what stands between you and your law school dreams. Second, we establish a baseline score so that we can track our LSAT prep progress as we progress. You will see here that the LSAT Max program mimics the digital online LSAT experience. You have the ability to highlight, underline, increase the font, change the spacing. You have your timer. You have the ability to eliminate incorrect answer choices. You can bring those back. You can flag questions to come back to. You notice it brings the flag here at the bottom. You also have the navigation bar at the bottom that allows you to progress through the section. And when you complete this exam, you will receive a detailed score report, as well as analytics that will start to highlight your strengths and weaknesses. So I'm going to go through this exam just to give you a sense of what that score report looks like once we've completed. Once you have completed your practice LSAT, you'll receive your scaled score, which is the scale of 120 to 180, your raw score, which is the total number of questions correct, as well as your percentile. As you go down, you'll get a breakdown by section: logic games, logical reasoning, reading comp. It's important to note that as of the August 2024 LSAT, logic games will be removed and it'll be replaced with another section of logical reasoning. And then you'll be able to review your exam and see detailed explanations for every question. Logic games, you'll encounter video explanations, both instructional as well as real time. Real time is our instructors going through the game in the 8 minutes and 45 seconds that you have on average per game, whereas the instructional videos will obviously go through those at a much slower pace, clearly explaining every little point for your reference when you review. For logical reasoning, you're going to see written explanations throughout the program, but you'll also encounter video explanations for the free practice LSAT. As you look at the quality of our explanations, I think it's really important to distinguish these from what you see from the majority of explanations on the market. Far too many explanations just tell you why the correct answer is correct and why the incorrect answers are incorrect. But many of these lackluster explanations basically just say, this answer is correct because this passage says X, and this answer is incorrect because the passage doesn't say Y. This is especially true for reading comprehension, which we'll get to in a second. LSAT Max, on the other hand, gives you detailed explanations that walk you through each step of solving an LSAT question. Like a tutor working with a student, our explanations illustrate how expert test takers think through each part of a question, from translating the complicated language in the passage, to anticipating what the correct answer will say, to evaluating each individual answer choice. LSAT Max students can compare their thought process to the explanations process, helping students identify where they made the wrong turn. After reading these explanations, LSAT Max students can internalize a reliable and efficient process of answering any LSAT question. You'll also encounter similar explanations for reading comprehension. Not only will you find explanations for each answer choice, both correct and incorrect, but you'll also get a detailed breakdown of the passage, as you can see here. Once you have your baseline score in place, now we want to turn our attention to the first step in LSAT prep, which is found on the Study tab of the LSAT Max program. The Study tab is our on-demand LSAT prep course. And as you'll see, every question type, every concept has its own section with a detailed video lesson and corresponding homework assignments, just like a traditional in-class LSAT prep course. But having materials on demand is vastly superior for you because instead of teaching to the mean, you're able to progress at a pace that makes sense to you, being able to pause, rewind, and rewatch any materials as you need. As you progress through the program, our analytics will highlight your strengths and weaknesses. As you saw, this process started as I took our mini practice LSAT. Before I log into a premium account, I want to just emphasize the free content that you'll find on the study tab. Everything through timing is unlocked for free, so you can explore these lessons and get a much better understanding of what your experience as an LSAT Max student will be like. Now let's log into a premium account to see how our analytics will track our progress as we continue with our LSAT prep. Now I've logged into a premium account, and you can see that everything now is unlocked and will fill in as I complete. And as I discussed, as you progress with your LSAT Max program, our analytics are going to track your progress, highlighting your strengths and weaknesses, as well as your progress to achieving your target score on your simulated practice LSATs. And this is a very important thing. You must take simulated practice LSATs as you progress with your LSAT prep. Otherwise, how can you know if what you are doing is effective or not? In addition to my overall progress, our analytics will also highlight your strengths and weaknesses. And this information is going to be invaluable as we begin to customize your LSAT prep for your specific situation, your specific weaknesses, and your specific goals. Once you complete your course, that's when we want to turn our attention to practice. Because it's one thing to understand what we're doing, it's another thing to be able to do that under the time pressure. But a lot of LSAT prep providers have this process reversed. Drilling is not the way you want to approach your LSAT prep until you have the proper foundation in place. Once you have the proper foundation in place, then you absolutely want to take simulated practice LSATs under time pressure. And you'll find every released official LSAT under the practice tab in LSAT Max. You can take these as full exams, but you can also take them as individual sections. Now, we've obviously gone over the core curriculum, we've gone over the analytics. Now let's talk about the supplementary materials that takes LSAT Max's personalization and effectiveness to a completely new level. This is our live class portal. And in our live class portal, you'll not only find the upcoming schedule of our daily live classes hosted by 99th percentile instructors, but more importantly, you'll find all the previous sessions available to you on demand. Now, we do not recommend that you try to join all of these live, and we obviously do not recommend that you try to watch every replay. It is impossible. It's too much content. The purpose of this portal, though, is once we identify our weaknesses in our analytics, we can then take that information of our areas that we need to focus on, jump into the live class portal, and filter by that topic. You notice here I was struggling with paradox questions, and I can come here and I can filter by paradox question. I'm also able to filter based off difficulty as well as the instructor. This portal is the largest library of filterable LSAT content created by 99th percentile instructors on the market. We've had students use this portal to go from a 163 to a 178, to go from a 169 to a 178. The ability of this portal to hone in on your specific weaknesses transforms the LSAT Max program from an on-demand course into an on-demand tutor available to you in your pocket 24/7. And just like myself, all of our instructors weren't naturals and struggled to increase their score to the 99th percentile. And they will have different perspectives and different approaches, which can be invaluable to you as you try to overcome the roadblocks that will arise as you progress with your LSAT prep. And I promise you, they will arise. And that is why it is so important to select an LSAT program that provides support and supplementary materials for you to overcome those issues as they present themselves. In addition to the live class portal, we also offer one-on-one private tutoring. In the tutoring dashboard, you have the ability to schedule sessions at your convenience with our 99th percentile tutor. All of the LSAT Max programs include complimentary tutoring, but you can also purchase tutoring and receive complimentary access to our course. So let's review the different options we offer for paid programs. You'll find these in our store, and you'll see we have a number of monthly subscriptions available: self-study, on-demand, and live plus tutoring. Self-study will unlock all of the practice LSATs as well as the explanation. On-demand will add the study tab as well as all the replays of the live classes. Live plus tutoring adds the ability for you not only to attend the live classes, but it also gives you 1 hour of private tutoring each month of your subscription. If you need longer access, we have our extended plans. LSAT Max 180 gives you access for 180 days. LSAT Max 365 gives you access for 365 days. LSAT Max Lifetime gives you access until you start law school. All of these options include 1 free hour of private tutoring as well. Going back to the monthly subscriptions, you have the option to be billed monthly, or you can choose to be billed quarterly and save 20%. So if you did live plus tutoring quarterly, that would be 3 months of access and 3 free hours of tutoring for $599. Alternatively, if you're looking for more personal support, you can purchase a tutoring bundle. You notice all of our bundles include a free half-hour assessment, so you don't have to waste your first hour with a tutor coming up with a plan and study schedule. And they also include complimentary access to LSAT Max, because it makes your tutoring that much more effective and efficient to have on-demand resources that you can leverage in between your time with your private tutor. And so there you have it. Not only an overview of the LSAT Max program, but also how to properly approach your LSAT prep. So let's recap. First, take a practice LSAT. Second, establish your foundation. What are you doing on the different sections? How do you approach the different question types? Third, practice under time pressure on simulated practice LSATs. This will comprise of not only full-length exams, but also individual sections under time pressure. Watch your analytics to highlight your strengths and weaknesses. Use supplementary materials to hone in on those weaknesses that include not only the live classes and the live class replays, but also private one-on-one tutoring. Finally, LSAT Max comes with unlimited personal support and attention. You can reach out to us via phone, text, email, chat, and our Discord, which you will be invited to once you purchase an LSAT Max program. If you have any questions about LSAT Max, law school admissions, or LSAT prep in general, you can always reach out to me directly at any time. My cell phone number is 310-401-0553, and my email is Mehran, MEHRAN, @testmaxprep.com. Lastly, you can edit your accommodation settings under your profile, and if you're taking the August LSAT or later, you can disable logic games in your profile by toggling the switch. This will not only remove logic games from the course, but it will also update all of the practice exams to consist of 2 logical reasoning sections, 1 reading comp section, and 1 experimental section. I hope you found this information helpful. And as you shop around for different LSAT providers, please keep in mind that not everything that you find on the internet is an unbiased source. You won't find a better source of flawed logic than shopping around for LSAT providers. And so I would highly recommend taking a moment to read this article, beware of LSAT wolves in sheep's clothing. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me directly at any time. Thanks again for taking the time to create an LSAT Max account. Now let's go achieve your target score.